Welcome to PrideNet Radio, a weekly LGBT radio talk show broadcast live from LGBT Ground Zero, Colorado Springs, Colorado. Welcome. My two guests today are our normal, everyday, every week, world-traveling co-host. Valdemar is back with us.
Hello, Charlie.
Welcome back.
It's good to be back. I literally just ran in the door, sat here, and my mic fell on my lap.
So you're breaking stuff already.
I don't know.
We haven't even got to your excursions in Las Vegas Pride Fest, and you're already breaking stuff.
Yeah,
I think we actually have to retrain him.
You got to retrain him?
Maybe.
So
missed last week.
I'm so not prepared to be
And
here.
we hear Dana on the other side of us.
Yeah.
So welcome, Dana.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
So you're the president of Colorado Springs Pride.
I am.
Valdemar is a world-traveling board member of Colorado Springs Pride.
Yes.
Yeah.
I didn't travel the world.
Did you
Let's think a few states over.
I'm the executive director, so welcome to PrideNet Radio. Let's get a couple things out of the way. If you're listening to us live, today is Tuesday, September 10th. Yay.
Yeah.
I know, this is our 8th show. We've got 2 months of shows under our belt.
That's
Yay. Our engineer's
crazy.
doing high fives. And just so you know, Valdemar,
I would clap FT in my hand.
you have to, you see the little red dot up there?
No, I don't want to look at that red dot.
Little red dot. For those of you in Radio Land, we're trying to do this. We've got a digital camera up in the corner, so everybody wave. See, it's over there. Wave.
Yeah.
And we're going to try to put this up on YouTube. We'll let you know. But so if you're listening to us live, PrideNet Radio on Tuesday, September 10th, between 3 and 4 Mountain Time. You can call in and talk with us. We're going to have a whole bunch of stuff we're going to talk about. But the numbers are 719-362-8851-525354, 719-362-8851-52, etc., etc. Or if you don't want to call us, we would love for you to call us because we love to laugh.
Absolutely.
You know, so
Not that we're going to laugh at you, but...
well, we might.
We're going to laugh with you.
We
We'll
could.
laugh with you.
We
We
could.
laugh at each other.
Call
but
them
we
and laugh
with-
at us.
Yeah,
Call
laugh at
them
us.
and
There you go.
laugh
That's a
at
better
us.
way to say it. Of course, you can go to our Facebook page. Go to facebook.com/cosPRIDE.org, and you'll see a little comment there that says, "Hi, we're live in 10 minutes." That means we're live now, and you can add stuff to us. Now, today's show is brought to us by our featured PrideNet partner. You know, PrideNet is our business networking group. And that's Miriam International. It's a great organization. Lori Daling, with real results grounded in scientific discovery and proven through clinical trials. Miriam offers an exciting opportunity for people to improve their skin and take advantage of amazing business opportunities all at the same time. So it's a great organization.
I may need to go see her before our next show. Now we know there's a camera out there.
That's right. You're going to have to go get all prettified.
Yeah.
I'm a mess right now.
Well-
I need to go see her.
Well, there's a great opportunity, so if you get a chance, go to our website, which is www.cosPRIDE.org. Click on PrideNet Radio. It's all the way on the right-hand side. Click on show number 8, and you'll see links to Lori and Miriam International's site. You can give them a call. I'll give you the numbers, so grab a pencil. This is where you pause and everybody grabs a pencil, or a pen, or a writing utensil, or a crayon, or whatever. 719-460-2725. That's Miriam International. And they've made today's show possible with a great donation from PrideNet Business Network.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Isn't that cool? So again, I gave you the numbers, 719-362-8851-525354. You can follow along with all of the stuff that we're going to be talking about from our website, cosPRIDE.org. You can comment to us directly on Facebook. I bet you will probably get a phone call from London, or at least a message on Facebook. Yes, he's back in London.
There's
Well, I
a
hope
lot
so.
of information on that page today.
I know, right? We're going to be talking about IRS taxes.
I was like, I don't understand.
Isn't that boring now?
Taxes?
Oh.
I'm not reading.
Well, there's like 10 pages. There's an FAQ that people can go in and talk about if you have a civil union, if you have a
Great
same-sex
stuff,
marriage.
though.
We're only going to talk about 2 or 3 things. We're going to make it as fun as possible. So go to the website and you can get all this because it's really important. So
Yeah, that's what it is. I think that's good. So if you want to know more, go to the website. 'Cause there's tons of information there that we're not going to.
this actually came from Senator Udall's office.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, they sent it over and said, hey,
Thank you, Senator.
I know. We just love that. With all the craziness going on in our political world today, Colorado Springs, with this recall vote with John Morris here. Crazy, crazy, craziness. If you're for or against, I don't know, just please vote because your voice cannot be heard unless you vote. So the polls are open until 7 p.m. today. Again, we're live right now. So if you're listening to us live and not a rebroadcast, you can go to the polls until 7 o'clock today and vote whichever way you feel is appropriate.
Very good.
Yeah, absolutely. So, what happened? Well, maybe I should start to my left. For those of you in Radio Land, I'm looking to my left now. Because we're going to start with you because mine was boring. I wasn't feeling well, so I just watched Star Trek reruns all weekend. So that was my hee-haw. It was great.
Oh my gosh. I got to, first off, we started the weekend for me for our first Friday event. And that's Jose Muldoon's. Absolutely fun time, had a great time, and then went into Elizabeth, believe it or not. Saw.
That's a city here in Colorado?
Yeah.
Okay.
Several miles north. It's off of 83.
I don't even know.
Well,
I'm still looking for the ocean to figure out which way's east, so.
Yeah, you go up 83, hang a right on 86, and you'll run into it.
Absolutely, I believe you.
And don't blink. But we had a band there. It was a fun, entertaining until around 11 o'clock, in which we made our way home and happily went to bed. And then on Saturday, the Peak Area Gender Expression Group had a picnic at Memorial Park. Well attended. We had about 20, 25 folks. We cooked burgers, had hot dogs, made fun of the puppy dogs playing, and it was just fun. And then, quite frankly, Sunday I had to sleep on the couch and watch football recovery.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And now, don't get me, you know, I get yelled at because my lesbian roommates always say, Charlie, you watching the game? Did the Broncos play on Sunday?
No, they
No.
played last Thursday.
Oh, last Thursday, but they won, right?
They did.
Okay, now, they would throw me out of the state if I didn't say, yay!
Yeah, absolutely. But one of the good things is Manning actually tied the record for number of touchdowns in a professional game, which was 7.
Really?
Really?
It was
Now, isn't
quite
there some
impressive.
big Manning Bowl
And I just-
or something
I
coming?
just want to ask, how is it the girl in this group only knows this stuff?
Because I'm a gay
I
man.
don't know.
Okay.
Hey, I was in fantasy football league. This is a true story. Fantasy football league with my roommate, and she said, "Okay, who do you got to pick this week?" We had to go through what is there, 27 teams? I don't know. I had to go through every one of these teams. You know how I picked my team?
By uniform?
By the picture. I was said, "Okay, what's the quarterback's name?" And I pulled up a picture on social whatever, and said, "Oh, he's cute," so I'd pick him. Honest to God, and I won for a while. You know, I think I took like 3rd place in the poll, but you know, I just looked to see how cute they were.
Folks, you just cannot make this stuff up.
It was fun. Okay, so that's how I play fantasy football.
Okay.
You know, so, but now, Las Vegas, we understand, you called in last week.
I did. I called in last week.
You were in
I was
Utah
in
somewhere.
Utah last week on my way to the Grand Canyon, actually, and then over to Vegas.
So
It was a good road trip. I drove around from Colorado to Utah to Arizona to Vegas, and
Before you get to the Vegas story, I just want to know this, because I see this on TV all the time. Okay, you stand in front of the Grand Canyon, which I've
Yeah.
never seen. I've got to get over there.
it's amazing.
How long did you stand there? Because everybody says, okay, did we look long enough? And then you move on. Was it like a 10-minute thing?
Kind
Did
of.
you
Well,
sit there?
I've been there before, so it wasn't new to me. I came in from Utah, the top part. The North Rim is a section that not a lot of people go to. Most everyone goes to the South Rim, and that's where everyone is. And I had never been to the North Rim, so I wanted to be there when the sun went down. So I went there. I got there about an hour before the sun. I probably was driving a little faster than I should have, but I got to the north. I was so happy. And I pulled in. I was there. I parked. I went. I stationed myself on top of a rock and just sat there and watched the sun go down for about an hour. It was
Okay.
amazing. Like the canyon is beautiful. When you, it's not as, I guess it's not as quite profound the second, third time, whenever you see it, but the first time you go through, because there's a forest around. Usually you think of Arizona, there's no trees and it's just dirt. But around the Grand Canyon there is a forest. So you're walking through the trees or driving through the trees, and you walk, all of a sudden it just opens up and there's this massive,
Hole in the ground.
yeah, and I don't like describing it as a hole, but there's these rock formations, and it goes on. Like the other side, the North Rim, I think is about 15 miles away from you, straight across this canyon. There's no words for it. You're there standing. Yeah, there are people who like, all right, once they get past that moment, they go to the next spot, they go to the next spot, they go to the next spot. I didn't do a lot of hiking this time. I was kind of wore out already from some of the other national parks I did before I got there. But it's definitely, the first time I went there, I was on the south side, and I went down to the bottom of the south side, the south rim, and watched the sunrise, which that was an amazing thing in itself. So this time I was like, I want to see the sun set. That first time, I think I had to start hiking down at 3 o'clock in the morning, and it was terrifying because it was pitch black. And
3 o'clock in the morning.
3 o'clock, because I wanted to be at
Oh,
the
hell no.
bottom when the
Oh,
sun.
hell
It's so worth it
No,
though. I
no,
got
no.
down to the bottom, and the sun came up. It was amazing. But yeah, when you're hiking down, when the sun's out, you can see that if I fall off this trail, I fall down like 10 feet, and not that that's okay, I still don't want to fall 10 feet down the canyon, but when it's dark, I can't tell if the bottom's 10 feet or 300 feet.
Oh, no.
It was kind of scary.
No. 3 o'clock
but
in the morning.
it was pretty amazing.
I've heard about that sunrise thing. I've not seen one in a while, but
It is.
No.
Oh yeah, I haven't either.
Yeah, no. Okay, so you've got like 2 minutes.
I can't talk about anything in 2 minutes.
I know, right?
But
So how was
ultimately, as far
Las
as
Vegas Pride?
one of the things and it kind of just happened. I was looking into what's happening in the area, and I saw that Las Vegas Pride was going to be happening the weekend I would be around the Grand Canyon. So I figured I might as well go over and party it up with Vegas. So I sent them a message and told them, who I was out here and that I'll work with our parade, and I was willing to volunteer to work with their parade. So I did, and they were so nice. They actually contacted me like right away and said, "Yeah, we want you." And I was like, "Really? Why do they care about me?" This is Las Vegas, and they're excited that I'm coming. But they were really nice. They had a whole meeting set up that I went to on Thursday at the Circus. Because apparently, again, if you're going to Vegas, as I would say, if you're traveling anywhere, check the Pride Center's website, find out who's supportive, and support them.
Right.
The MGM Grand resorts are huge in support out there. So
that's very good to know.
yeah, so I stayed at the Circus is one of them, and they have meetings there, and they have a bingo night there, and they're very supportive. So support MGM Grand out there. Yeah, so I went to the meeting. We went out to eat. We were prepping for it, and it was cool. I really enjoyed watching their way of putting things together, because I hadn't really worked on any other parade other than ours, and a little with Denver. I've talked to their parade team and gone to their meetings before. So Vegas is a whole other level. Like
Okay.
it's a whole level. Like they do it almost like it's the Macy's parade. Like they have stands and there's TV cameras there, and the floats stop in front of these stands and do performances and then go on. So it's a whole level of production higher than I've seen a parade done before. So it was really cool.
Wow.
Well, I just got a text message on my cell phone from a friend that said, "Okay, Valdemar, cut the crap. What did you dress up as?"
I was actually very, very mild. I wore a t-shirt and shorts.
Daisy Dukes, right?
No, they were normal.
Did you wear like
shorts.
9-inch heels or anything?
No, I was wearing.
You didn't even dress up like Wonder Woman, or
No, I
anything?
didn't. I didn't dress up at all. I was like, "This is Vegas. I can't meet the stand. I'm not even gonna try."
Okay, Nacho, if you're listening in London, I think that he just checked off one of
I
the
didn't do
2 remaining pieces on his gay card.
Although
so-
I did notice that there weren't as many. Like you would think, "Oh, this is Vegas. Everyone's gonna be crazy. Everyone's gonna be half naked. Everyone's gonna be." And it wasn't like that. It was actually very reserved, I found. Especially the festival itself was very mild. Like it wasn't like a big party.
That's such a balance that we've got to do all the time, because part of our community, and that's one thing that Colorado Springs Pride is to look at, we've got to balance all of that,
Yeah.
because we've got to represent all of our community, and some of our community wants this big
party.
the big party, and some of the community wants it to be the way that it
Yeah.
was, or for other reasons, so forth. So that is always a balance.
Yeah, definitely. I think there is, and I think I found the festival is very good. It's smaller than you probably expect Las Vegas Pride to be, but they had a good size. There was a good crowd. It was a really fun time. I thought it was funny that while we were doing the setup, my responsibility ended up being traffic control on one side of the. And because they closed down this whole street through downtown, which was 4th Street, and where I was stationed, people are trying to get around that, and this is the first street they're going to come to, and the roadblock, you couldn't really see it until you turned and were on the street.
And there's Valdemar.
And there I am, and usually you see a big roadblock, you turn around, you go back, but not about 90% of the people there stopped and asked me, "How do I get?"
You turn around.
And I don't know. I have no idea. All I know is that's 4th Street. It's closed. So after a few cars, I started saying, "All right, here's what you do. You go turn around, go to the next street right there." I didn't even I think I call it Casino Grand. Take Casino Grand all the way down to this street, turn over, and 3rd Street opens back up, and you can go to where you need to go.
And you've
about
never
an hour
even
there's
been on?
I looked, I was like, "Oh, that's not even the name of the street." And I asked, "Does that street really go down?" Because I've been telling everyone to go down that street. I don't know.
So there are people that are probably still looking for the parade.
Probably. a lot of it, there was this hotel there, not a hotel, there's an apartment building that seemed like everyone who lived there ended up where I was. And like, I'm trying to get to that apartment. And so I gave them all direct, and I don't know, I don't live there, and I'm telling them how to get to their apartment.
So with Valdemar, basically, you can't get there from here.
Turn around, go back to that street, and then go to the next street over and go down. You're fine. Just basically
dear.
go away from me.
Las Vegas, we're so sorry.
But it was a blast. Then I went, I watched the parade. The parade was about 2 hours long.
No kidding.
It kind of moved slower because of that whole show thing.
Right.
I think they had about 80 entries, and
Wow.
it took 2 hours for them to go
And
by.
it's at night.
And it's at night. It started at 8 o'clock and went till about 10.
Wouldn't that be so much fun to have one here at night?
And then, yeah, then it's over, and there's, I think they were expecting 30-something thousand people.
Really?
Close to 40,000 people, maybe.
About the number that we had.
Yeah, it was huge. There were
Yeah.
people everywhere.
Was
More
it
people there.
1
like,
day or 2 day event?
It's a 2-day event, but the first day is just the parade. There's nothing else happening on Friday night.
Okay.
It's just the parade. And then Saturday, they have the festival from noon till 10. And they get about a fourth to a third of the people who go to the
Yeah.
parade. There's a lot less people at the actual festival. But like I said, it was a good time. They had a nice stage. They had some entertainment, refreshments, and food and booths, and you got to go see who's in Las Vegas supporting the community. There was actually a lot. They in Las Vegas have a lot of support from their community. So it was good
That's
to
what
see.
makes the difference. Absolutely.
Well, absolutely, and I just want to, if we haven't said it already, but thank you, Las Vegas, for helping and including Val in your Pride Fest.
And then I left Pride Fest Saturday.
This is all the
This
time
is
you
a
got.
whole-
You gotta hurry up, because we gotta move on, brother.
And I got into a car accident in
He's
front of
never
a
gonna shut up,
Mandalay
you know
Bay.
that.
I will not shut. I can go on this whole show telling you.
That's okay, we'll
But-
turn your mic off.
Yeah.
I survived, and I'm back in Colorado, despite the proceedings of that event.
Unfortunately, you weren't hurt.
I was not hurt. My car is duct taped back together because its radiator broke, so I had to get the radiator fixed. And I was like, I just want it. The place I went to was really nice. I was like, I just want it good enough to get back to Colorado. I don't care about all the other stuff. Just fix it, and then I will duct tape the bumper back up. I don't care if it's pretty, then I'll deal with insurance when I get back.
You'll have to send us pictures.
Because
so we
first
can
thing was
put it up
not
on our
my
website.
fault. It was not my fault. Someone from the far right lane decided to make a U-turn on Las Vegas
They were
Boulevard.
trying to go down 3rd Street to get back to the street that goes around. They were
Yeah.
pissed off that you told
They
them
were
to
still
go the wrong
driving
direction.
they were still driving with your directions, and came back and got you.
Well, if you've missed our shows in the past, you can always go to our website, www.cosPRIDE.org, and click on PrideNet Radio, and all of our shows are linked there. There's where you can go and listen to them anytime you want. It's like PrideNet Radio on demand, so you can listen to what's going on. So Cosmic Radio puts them up for us.
Yeah, I need to listen to last week's show, but I wasn't here.
I listened to it today. It was actually really funny. And in talking about last week's show, just a brief piece about this. We talk a lot about the Russian piece on okToBegay.org and all of that, and they've come out with one piece that I just wanted to add. Do you know that last Thursday that the Russian lawmakers want to take away children from gay parents in Russia now?
I did read that.
I mean, it says that the draft bill published on the Parliament's website on Thursday would make the, quote, fact of non-traditional sexual orientation a basis for denying custody.
See, when I think about something like countries like Russia, you would think now, a normal country, they have so many eyes on them now because of what they're doing. You would think they said, you know what, let's calm down and be reserved for a while until the Olympics
No.
are over. And then, but I think they kind of like it. Everyone's looking
Yeah.
at us. We're going to show them how
Absolutely.
powerful we are. We're going to make it worse.
And that's
Because
exactly
everyone's watching us. We're going to show you what we can do.
what we're doing. It just
Most countries would just shut up for a while. Wait till next March when no one's looking at you anymore and then do it.
Well, we had a community meeting today, because the okToBegay division of our organization had community leaders meet at the Pride Center, and we talked about what's next in that process. And we've got something in the works that we'll share with you in a couple of weeks as we get some more community input. But it's going to give the opportunity for LGBT Colorado Springs people to really come together for a singular cause. And we're very, very excited about that. So keep watching the COS Pride website, and of course keep watching the OKToBegay.org
And anyone
website.
who'd like to come visit us during that time period.
Absolutely. Now remember, OK2Begay is OK, the number 2, letter B, GAY.org. So go there. So we're going to talk about what's trending, and that's this is the IRS piece. So what's trending is made possible by a donation from Farmers Insurance, the Joseph McCloskey Agency. It's Joe's mission to help you develop the right plans to meet your insurance and financial needs through dedication, knowledge, and a tireless work ethic. Joe McCloskey is the agent you will also want to send your friends and family to. If you're local here, he's at 4297 Austin Bluffs Parkway. He's in Suite 202. Give him a call at 719-237-9455. That's Joe McCloskey Agency. He came to our PrideNet meeting last week.
He did, and I had a chance to talk with him. A really nice person. I really enjoyed the conversation.
We had a lot of people at our
We
business
did.
networking
I
group.
bet it was 25.
At least.
Yeah.
And Downtown Dennis brought over all that food.
Oh, it
Oh,
was from the Mediterranean.
I still have hummus at my house. I gave away everything that I could. I said, can I have that one? Yeah, that hummus is so great.
It is.
So we thank them. But thank you, Joe McCloskey. They do a great job. Remember that if you're looking for insurance policies, they give civil unions discounts. So if you're civil union in Colorado, they'll give you a discount like as if you were married. So, okay, so what's trending? IRS and same-sex marriages. What, are you excited? How excited are you? Call in, tell us how excited you are.
Yeah.
Write on Facebook, tell us how you're excited. I'm not.
You're not.
No. That's why we're talking about the IRS. But there's some important pieces.
I think it's exciting what they're doing, but yeah, I kind of the same as
That's right. So on our website, cosPRIDE.org, show number 8, go and take a look. And what we've done is this information came to us. It's coming from the IRS, but it came from Senator Udo's office. It basically gives us 2 FAQs, frequently asked questions list. And there's like 10 pages
There's
of
a
them.
lot.
It's broken up into 2 things, so really pay attention.
Go to the website.
Yeah, go to the website,
This is
because
about this is part of what
we're not
you're
gonna do
dealing
it.
with. Go look.
And we're not tax attorneys, we're not accountants, we have no idea what we're talking about, we're reading from a piece of paper.
I think that
Is that a good disclaimer?
It is.
No.
But we want to know why they're mad.
Oh, no.
You gotta be fair. Even with the IRS, there's now a silver lining.
And that is what?
They're recognizing civil.
Okay.
Oh,
All right,
I think
very
there's
good.
no. I was like, what?
Yeah, I was gonna say, what
Yeah,
is that?
it is.
So this FAQ is broken up into 2 pieces, and there's about 26 answers to questions, and we were not gonna go nowhere near all that stuff, but it's broken up in what if you're a registered domestic partner and individuals in a civil union. So that's what you could be here in Colorado, because we have civil unions. But you could also be, a few pages back, if you are in a same-gendered marriage, it's seen a little bit differently. Okay? Does that make sense? So meaning that if you go to a state, some states say that you can come, you don't have to be a resident, you come here and get married. So let's say California does it. I don't know if California does that. Somebody tells me. Somebody call in or Facebook me and say, does California do this? I don't know. But if you get married in California and you're living in Colorado Springs, you could essentially have a federal level because you're married and a civil union, so there's various things you got to pay attention to, right? A couple of things that I picked out of this, if you're looking at a civil union, one of the questions was, can registered domestic partners file federal tax return using a married filing jointly or married filing separately status? And the answer is no. So on a federal level, if you just have a civil union, no, you can't do that. I can tell the excitement. I get these blind stares off into nowhere.
I don't know.
Well, to be fair, it's not April yet.
Yeah, it's not April yet. It's not the 15th, so nobody's thinking about taxes.
But that's a good thing to know, because there are so many different levels. Different states have different wording for what they may call civil unions or registrations or marriages, whatever. And with taxes, obviously, it's looking at it from a federal level. So it is important to find out what you have legally in your state. How is that going to apply
Absolutely.
on the federal level? So there's
And this is
a lot
just,
of yes/no answers. And that's what about this? What about this? What about this?
well, the next one talks about head of household. You can do that filing where you're head of household, and it says, can a taxpayer use the head of household filing status if the taxpayer's only dependent is his or her registered partner? No, you can't. That's a big no too. But the one I thought was really cool was, can a registered domestic partner itemize deductions if his or her partner claims a standard deduction, because this is different. So, if me and Bob are married and Bob says he files whatever and he says he's going to do his standardized deduction, can I itemize? Yeah, I can itemize.
Well, yeah, according to this, you can.
Yeah, according to this, in the civil units, again, we are not taxed. How many times do we have to say that?
Guess
We
that's good.
have no idea. So that's the big difference in there. And there's 20, oh my goodness, how many is there, Dana? 26,
lot.
27, there's 27 FAQs about that. So do use this as a resource, and of course check with your attorney, check with your accountant, and make certain it's on our website. But there's things, you know, can we have a child? Can we claim it as independent? And it just goes on and on and on and on.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting too. It brings that up to even adoption of children, how you can go about claiming that. So it is good if you're in that situation, go look into it, because even though tax season's a ways off, it's good to be prepared and not wait until April to start looking up.
You know, I have a couple of accountants friends, and every year they have to go to class to kind of come up to speed on what the latest, and it's going to be a long class.
Yeah, it is going to be a lot for them to learn this year.
And it's changing so rapidly. You know, who knows what it's going to be by April? You know, goodness,
Yes.
we could have marriage equality here in Colorado.
Mhm.
We could, you know, something could happen on a federal level that says, okay, all states, you know, whatever. So there's so many pieces. So now here's the other piece. We'll talk briefly about a couple things, because I really want to talk about take me off your faggot list. I know, I said the F word. But at the bottom of our show, or at the top of our, no, it'd be at the bottom. Is that the bottom? I'm looking at the engineers. At the bottom, at the end. We know a radio term. So we want to talk about that, and we'll get there in just a second. So because man, did people go nuts on Facebook. You've not heard anything about this, have you?
Terrible.
Did you read it?
No, I was thinking about top of the show, bottom of the show.
Tomorrow. So if you are married,
Get your mind out of the gutter.
individuals of the same sex who are married under state law, can same-sex spouses file federal tax return using a married filing jointly or married filing separately status? And here's one of the big wins. Yes, you can now. Because DOMA-FEL, or DOMA's, you know, parts of DOMA-FEL, that the federal government now does recognize. So yes, you can do that.
Mhm.
I think that's big.
It is.
That is big. That's
You know,
good.
so when you get married, Valdemar,
As I always say, if I can just get to the second date, I would be happy. This whole thing is like fantasy for me. Like, this is how you mount a unicorn. This is drive to the end of a rainbow on your pot of gold.
you know, with the glitter flying. And,
Yeah, like that's
You can accomplish a goal if you're constantly putting qualifications in front of it, okay?
what?
Oh, hell, you can't. I'm a picky
that-
son of a gun. You
I don't know.
I have goals.
Oh,
I have a whole nother story we can talk about next week. So everyone come back next week. I have an amazing story for my trip to tell you
Oh,
about.
did you have a date? Well, did you have a second date?
No. I told you, the second date never happened.
Oh my word. Okay, so next question is, can a same-sex spouse file using head of household? Get this, a taxpayer who is married, period, cannot file using head of household. However, a married taxpayer may be considered unmarried and may use the head of household filing status. So now we're just lumped in with everybody else, just like everybody else that does it, yes, no, and everything. So there's a little bit of normalcy. Is that a word? Normalcy?
Yeah, I think so.
Normalcy. I think we need to add that to Urban Dictionary. Normalcy. Somebody write that down. And then the last one in IRS, and we will get off of this because I could just tell everybody's so excited. Can a same-sex spouse itemize deductions if his or her spouse claims a standard deduction? Here's where the big difference is. Nope, you can't. Because you're a unit. If you're filing as a married couple, you're a married couple. You either itemize or you take a standard deduction. Make sense? Yeah, I can tell.
It does. Like, I think the main thing, just for everyone out there to recognize that this has happened, if you haven't already heard about it somewhere else, it's good to look into it now. I think it's cool that we have this resource that, Senator Udall gave us this, that we can put it on the website. So if you're going to fall into this category, find out now, or as soon as you can, how you're going to have to do your taxes next year.
It's a great resource, and we know that it's not the most exhilarating conversation, but as you said, Valdemar, this is an extremely important topic. And that's some of the things that we're having to look at these days as an LGBT community.
Or if you're an accountant. If you're an accountant, like Dana said, you need to start learning this now.
We've got some business partners.
Be crazy.
We've got some business partners that are actually looking at this to become professional. We don't want to say who they are yet because we want to make sure that they've got all of their ducks in a row and, as we say, I's dotted and T's crossed, but that are becoming experts on this because, especially here in Colorado Springs, we're such a large community. So our next segment is made possible by a donation from Gail Sutton Properties, the real estate team that focuses on you. Are you buying or selling a house? If you want the very best service and results, experience the difference quality service makes, and contact Gail Sutton Properties today. 719 if you're local, 719, or even if you're not local, because you can buy a house from anywhere, right? 719-362-9702, or give Gail an email, send Gail an email at gail@gailsuttonproperties.com. And Holly, let's see, Gail and Holly were at the PrideNet meeting last week.
They were.
And then at First Friday, which was a great event. If you were here locally, we had it at Jose Muldoon's. We'll probably do one more there.
Yep.
We had like 50
That's
people
cool.
there.
Yeah, because I'm really sad I missed that.
That was really a great time. It was a great
It's really
venue.
a good one.
Thank you, Jose Muldoon's, for hosting us.
right
And we will
downtown.
do it again, yeah.
I was getting cars lost in Vegas.
Yeah, most definitely. You absolutely were. So what's next is, of course, this is the last week. Chicago the Musical's coming next week. And if there are any tickets left, you can go to a special website. What is it called? It's BroadwayInColoradoSprings.com. Or you can, of course, go to our website and do /VIP. And there, you can use access code cosPRIDE, and 10% of your ticket purchase will go to the Colorado Springs Pride organization. So please go to see this event. We're very excited about it, and we get a donation from every ticket you buy.
So will this be Val's first musical or not?
I don't know. I've got some tickets on
I've
reserve.
seen musicals. It's the movie musicals I have a problem with. Broadway musicals I'm fine with. It's the TV shows that I stop singing.
You stop
Tell me the story.
Okay. Make sure you folks that you take a look at our community calendar too at cosPRIDE.org. Go to our community calendar, and we're starting to add more and more events coming, especially as the holidays are getting here, so that thing's going to be extremely busy.
Although I would say Chicago, I like the movie. I think Chicago the musical movie was good, and I've never seen the play. I've seen tons of musicals and plays. I love plays and I love them, but I've heard nothing but good things about people who've gone to see Chicago, the actual Broadway play. That it's pretty amazing, even before it became a movie.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm just saying. That's all.
Yeah, we believe you. Okay, folks, I see some messages popping in to our Facebook. If you're commenting about today's show, please go to Facebook /cosPRIDE.org and post it underneath where it says we're live in 10 minutes. That's the area that we can see here from the radio station. Put your comments there. If you want to give us a call, 719-362-8851, 8852-5354. 719-362-8851, 2, 3, and 4. And our next segment is made possible by a donation from Sportique Scooters. Now they're located local, if you're here in Colorado Springs, 1834 East Platte Avenue. And they are proud to be a source for your Vespa, your Kimco, and your genuine motor scooters. I just laughed. You talked about last week. Some of these scooters do 110 miles an hour.
Well, they do.
I know. Whether your scooter is for pleasure, economics, or local culture, Sportique Scooters is your complete source for service support and accessories, and of course, scooters. Sportique Scooters, my favorite line of all, where scooters come from.
Well, it's not your mom's scooter anymore.
I know it's not. Every time, because we drive right past there, we're going from Cosmic Broadcasting, where we are right now, back to the Pride Center, and I always go, look, there's scooters, and everybody that's riding with me is like, yeah, Charlie, we know you showed me last week, the week before, but they're really fun there. So
I think we're detecting some scooter envy.
I know, right? Well, I know some folks that are getting ready to go buy a couple of them, and yeah, wow.
I need a scooter.
You need a scooter to add to your busy life? You think you're going to get a second date if you're on a scooter? Hey, come on, honey, you want to go to the movies?
The reason I need a scooter is I never use the second seat anyway, so I only need one. To get myself to where I need to go.
Oh, my.
He just needs a reason to wear more leather.
Yeah, that's what it is. Oh,
Leather.
we tell you that.
That would look really weird, like all leathered up like you're on a Harley and you're on a scooter.
Well, if you ever spend
Some of them
time,
scooters are really sporty though.
well, they are. But if you ever spend some time in Europe,
it's crazy.
they are, and you walk into what they think of as a biker bar, and
It's
folks wearing the appropriate apparel, and they don't have anything over 400 cc's.
Huh.
So, which is rather small.
Yeah, when I think of
So-
Vespa,
It's a different culture.
yeah, when I think Vespa, I think of Italy and I think Rome and how many of them Vespas were covering the streets there. Traffic there is ridiculous.
I know.
It's crazy, but yeah, there were scooters
Or in
everywhere.
Paris, when you go around that circle, I forget what it's called, you almost can't walk across it when you're going across the street, and it's going around, and it's like DuPont Circle, you just get lost. Which way do I? Yeah, all I can think of is beep, beep. Okay, so we're to this Dear Charlie Brown segment. Okay, this is what Sportique Scooters is sponsoring, the segment sponsor. Oh my word. Okay, that's all I've got to say. So we're on question number 4 of these 7 signs that he or she is not really into. We've already done the last 3. Remember last week? Our engineers over there laughing saying, my friends in Denver just love this section. But last week was he only calling you over for you know what. So
He's always our only.
Only.
And I said, well, because the reply back was, well, after a couple of times, you just need to ask him. I was like, yeah, okay, should we like 4 or 5 times and then ask him? But anyhow, so this week,
Don't ruin it. Yeah.
you haven't been introduced. Been introduced to his friends. Okay, now of course, this is what we found on the website, and then we'll tell you a professional answer. You haven't been introduced to his friends. It says no. It's not that he wants to keep you all to himself. Be honest with yourself. When he likes you, he's going to want to show you off and see what his friends think about you. By introducing you to his friends, you are presumably a big part of his life. It shows that he wants to include you in all aspects of his life. So what did we do? We went and asked Dara Hoffman-Fox. She's an LPC here in Colorado Springs. She's from the Bohemian Sanctuary. She's on the west side, folks. If you're here in Colorado Springs, she's 2207.5 West Colorado Avenue. You can call Dara at, I always call her Dara, Mascara Dara, because I used to call her Dara. She would say Charlie, I've known her for years. So I say Mascara Dara so I can rhyme it. So it's Dara Hoffman-Fox. 719-313-8490. And here's her 2 cents, because she's a professional. And we listen to her, right? Okay, for those of us that know how to do boundaries that I suck at, but here's the deal. You know that saying, you can tell a lot about a person based on their friends. Do you agree with that?
Absolutely.
I do agree with that.
You do? The first thing you might want to pay attention to is who are his friends or her friends. You don't have to be judgy about it, just observational. I like that word, observational. What are they interested in doing during this time of their life? Is it in line with what you are interested in? And therefore, is your squeeze interested in those things too? So are there commonalities? Is there something, and I thought that was really cool to institute. It said, for instance, you have a career and you're a full-time student, so your free time is somewhat limited. You still like to go out and have fun from time to time, but you also enjoy nights at home relaxing with your honey. If it feels like he is always choosing to go out with his friends instead of staying home with you, and especially if you can tell that he'd rather you didn't come along, that's definitely something to take notice of. That's called red flag, waving in your
That's a huge red
I
flag.
know, right? They just don't give a crap about you. Maybe he's not ready to let go of his youth and allure of the nightlife, or the feeling of being free, in quotes. If that's the cause, then he can still have all that, but you'll want to find yourself someone else who is going to be a better fit for you. You only end up feeling insecure and alone, which only pushes him further away. Cut your losses and try again. You can do it. She says that a lot.
Cut your losses.
Well,
it is true. I mean, because you don't want to invest more time into something that's not going to happen.
Well, how many times have you noticed that people latch on to a stability of the known?
Yeah.
They know what they're dealing with, because venturing out into the unknown, particularly with relationships or finding that other person, can be so incredibly hard and difficult.
Yeah.
It is. It is a horrible thing sometimes to search that, especially when you're a busy person like many of us are.
Yeah.
You know, it's hard to find it. And that connection, that's rare. You know, I'm one of those stupid persons that think, oh my God, you know, my perfect someone is out there just waiting for me. I know that it's there. I've got to believe that because the universe tells me that. But at the same time, you're like, okay. You know, tapping your fingers going, okay, when's it going to come around?
There's definitely a balance there. 'Cause I mean, I don't think you should settle for someone who you feel's not, like this, is not, if they're doing this, that's, you know, don't settle for that. But there are people who like, I'd rather have that than nothing. I must have something, and if this is what it's going to be. And ultimately, that's not going to get you where you want to be. Plus now, maybe you are, what if that other perfect person you're looking for is there, and they see, oh, you're already taken by someone who's terrible. But yeah, so there is that balance. I mean, obviously no one's perfect, but they should care about it. I think you can't be skimpy on wanting to be with someone who actually cares about you.
Well, and I think we all, you know, obviously there's compromise and you have to work with somebody, but sometimes we actually once again become a little bit of afraid to be ourselves and express what's mentally healthy for us.
And you know, it's a lot of work.
It is.
You know, it's an interesting thing just how much work a relationship. I've always been the person that believes a relationship is not 50-50. I truly don't believe that. Now, it's taken a couple of relationships of years ago, because that was years ago, but it's 100%, 100%. You really have to give your all, and if you don't, I feel that you're doing disjustice not only to your partner, but to yourself, because there has to be some self-respect there. And if you are not giving to that level to your partner, do you truly love them? Do you truly have their best interest in mind? I read something just the other day, and I wish I'd have brought it in here with me, that talks about if you truly love somebody, you want to make them smile. You want them, when they walk in the room, you want them to feel special that they're there. You want to spend time with them. You know, and all those things. And sometimes, you know, I might love somebody, but I'm kind of pissed off at you right now, or whatever the case may be. But in the same aspect, and that's okay. But if you truly love somebody, you want to do that. But my sister is a phenomenal woman, and she is here local here with me, and we hang out kind of often. And you know, we've been talking a lot about having tools in your toolbox. And a lot of people don't. They've never understood a healthy relationship. And having those tools in your toolbox to make that relationship that way is something that not everybody has. You know, and we've got to really slow down. I saw something on Facebook the other day that they post those pages, those pictures, whatever else. It says, you know, slow down. Take a look. See what you're missing in life, because life is going so fast. So it's all about toolboxes right now. In Charlie's world, about how many tools are in that toolbox. So I think that's a great thing.
I think that what
I'm Charlie. That's Dana.
what Dara here said is like, it's
Dara,
true.
mascara, Dara. See, you do it too, Dara. You say, Charlie, stop that.
It's you know, they would, like, I think especially towards the beginning, they would want to show you off. They want their friends to see you, and I think that is a huge thing if they don't want you to come out and meet their friends, or there's something they're hiding, but something's not right about that whole thing. I find it terrifying when I meet someone's friends if I'm dating them.
I suck at dating. I am so bad at it.
Because it is, and I don't know, I find it very intimidating. I don't know. Especially if I meet someone who has a ton of friends, like a bunch of friends and a bunch of family and all these people, I find that very intimidating, and I don't really know why.
Yeah.
It's because you're...
you need to come give me help.
Yeah, it's because you're well known. That makes it so
Well, not so much that. I think maybe it's because
like
I don't have family, and I don't have like a ton of really close friends. So to me, I don't know, something about that is intimidating. But the friends I do have, when I do meet someone, I do want them to meet them. Like, meet this person, I want to know what you think about.
See, I love it. I love to show off.
Yeah, so that's why
show them off.
Exactly. That's what
I'm saying. I would rather be behind the scenes, because with what I do, I'm often in front of it. But I love to show off my partner. Yeah, that's what it makes me proud. Okay, so now we're going to move from talking about warm and fuzzies and boundaries and all those kinds of things to somebody that doesn't have any boundaries. But our next segment is called In Focus, and it's made possible by a couple of our newest partners. These guys are great. I've met with both of them this week. It's the Reproductive Medicine and Fertility Centers. That scares me. I've got 2 kids. I don't want any more. Reproductive Medicine and Fertility Centers and Beyond 12-Step Program. Both of those folks, these are new partners that came in this week and signed up to be partners with us. So go to our website and check out them. I love the concept, obviously, the reproductive and fertility centers is for LGBT folks or just regular folks that want to have babies and cannot for whatever reason. They cannot biologically. So come check them out. They're on our website and on our network, our Pride Network, and Beyond 12-Step, Marlene Milner, phenomenal woman. And I love this new concept. And it talks about feeling unappreciated, bogged down by chatter, blah, 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 blah. And she just goes on about being her authentic self and about really taking it out of the 12-step world and learning about codependency. And she's great. So go check it out.
I thought that picture looked familiar. I didn't know she was doing this.
Yeah,
She's a very positive,
oh
bubbly
She walks in the room and it just goes ding. So, but I've met with both of these folks.
Well, that's cool. I didn't know she was doing this now.
Yep.
Good for her. I'm glad to hear that.
So, at the bottom of the show, we have 15 minutes left. We have to talk about 2 things. The first little thing, I think we mentioned this last week. Do you realize, and let's not get off on this because then we got to talk about this take me off the faggot list. Former Senator Dave, how do you say his name?
I don't know. Schultz.
Schultheis.
Schultz?
Anyhow, is talking about our Speaker of the House. And he said, because our Speaker of the House is openly gay, Mark Ferrandino, and they're adopting a little girl, beautiful, beautiful little girl, and he said that he's calling adoption by gay House Speaker child abuse. Can you believe that an ex-elected official has what we call them last year,
I think it's
what is that, testosterone fortitude? The NADS?
I think
I'm just glad he's ex.
Yeah.
I think if you're stupid enough to be willing to expose yourself as being the ignorant person that you are so publicly, thank you for letting us all see what an idiot you are so we don't have to, say, you've showed us, you showed your colors and you said, look how stupid I am.
What century is he living in?
Exactly.
He says to deprive this little girl of a loving mother for the sake of self-gratification is perverted.
That'd be like I said, you know what, I think that colored people should be on the back of the bus.
Yeah, or
if I were willing to be that stupid and say something like that out loud for the whole world to hear.
There needs to be a gay-only water fountain.
Exactly.
Now it would be pretty and all shiny and stuff.
Everyone would want to use our water fountain.
That's right.
Let's be dads on the water fountain.
My word, I'd say. So here's the deal. So along that same lines, and this is where okay to be gay is so important, and the push about Russia and so forth. And that is really about, the things that they're doing in other parts of the world, it can happen here, and it does happen here. Now it's less frequent and oftentimes less public, but that's one of the things that Colorado Springs Pride really tries to do is balance out exactly what.
It's kind of like that whole being on the right side of history thing. To me it's so obvious now that if you're trying to fight it, even if that, everyone has the right to believe what they do, but even if that's how you feel, you can tell where history's going, and 10 years from now, when we look back and see what you said publicly, what are people going to think about you? How are you going to go down in history? I don't understand why someone like him, even if he felt that way, would be so openly stupid to the world.
And that's a great point. And here's where it's beginning to change, and this is the great thing, and this is why Colorado Springs Pride really balances, because we want to talk about the good things, but we also got to talk about the challenges that we have, and that is a balance, because if we hide the challenges, then folks are getting misrepresented about the real world. So here's what we do. We have volunteers that come in all the time, a massive volunteer force that we're very, very, very thankful for. And they collect email addresses from businesses. They'll say, okay, today we're going to work on sign shops. And they'll go out and look at all of the businesses in the Colorado Springs area and obtain their email address. And we put it on there and we send them an email. Say, hey, listen to PrideNet Radio or come to the Pride Business Networking Group or whatever. And that's one of the ways that we grow our organization. That's how we get more exposure. And that's how we really begin to change the dynamics of the perception of the LGBT community. So we did this. Last week we sent out, oh goodness, I think we sent almost 6,000 emails last week saying, hey, listen to our show. We started an hour just like we did today. And this person was on the list. And it just said, hey, PrideNet is coming up in an hour. Listen, you can go to Cosmic Radio, listen to this link, or Cosmic Broadcasting. And when it's kind of a cold thing like that, some of the people take themselves off. We were respectful. We use a system that says, click here and you can take me off of this email address. We'll never send you another email. And they can do that, and it's great. You know, if you don't want them, we get that. But this guy wrote back, he said, take me off your faggot list.
Oh.
And he signed it, Spencer O. Swan, President, Colorado Canyon Signs Incorporated. And his phone number and fax, which, by the way, are 719-475-7003. And his fax number is 719-447-1761. He actually, he sent that back to us. Do you believe that?
That's another one, like, how is he so, especially as a business owner, how are you so openly stupid over, like, I don't get people, like, how would you feel like, oh, this will be a good thing if I say that? Even if you do feel that way, why would you feel that this is a good idea for me to attack a group of people and use an offensive word? I don't know.
Well, we put that out on Facebook. Because you know what? If you're going to send that something back, you know, we put it exactly as it was received to us. We didn't change, we didn't say the F word, we didn't, you know, star out the words because we didn't want to misrepresent him in any way. And boy, let me tell you what, did it get a response. If you go to our website, there's 18 responses there that people just absolutely went ballistic about it. Ignorant was a word that we heard a lot. And it says that I'm happy, this is one of the responses, Angie said, I'm happy you're growing and my business Infamous Artistry supports you. We need more loving, open-minded organizations here, and I'm grateful that you're here. Another, Crystal says, pure ignorance. Another one, Victoria says, this is a business neither I nor anyone I influence will ever be supporting. Pure ignorance is right. This one person wrote, God, how long does it take for humans to grow up?
Yeah.
And it goes on and on and on. What do you think about this?
I mean, I agree with him, and I think it's the same thing. He's just showing the world the type of person he is, and there are some things you should not show the world, and that's one of them, but obviously he was ignorant enough to let us see how stupid he is, so now we know.
You know, we did this a while ago that we occasionally, depending on what our workforce is and volunteer numbers, we did this. I don't want to say the restaurant this was because it had been corrected, but at that particular project we were working on, we were calling various categories of individuals and businesses and so forth. I think we were calling restaurants. And we called about a year ago, I guess, and called this one and was asking them 5 very basic questions. Hey, how much, or, you know, would you like to see more LGBT people in your business? Do you support equality? And that it was like 3, maybe 4 questions. And this one place said, nope, 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 don't want, we don't need, don't come anywhere near us, whatever else. So, of course, we published that and we put that out on Facebook and our stuff. So, that kind of generated.
Our community was kind of sad because I think a lot of them liked that restaurant.
They really did.
Can't go there anymore.
And people went into that restaurant and said, hey, we don't like this, we're not coming back. Well, it got back to the owners of the restaurant, and the owners of the restaurant called back and said, hey, wait a minute. The person who answered the phone, they have been dealt with, whatever that dealt with means, I don't know. We do not feel that way, we love you, we support the LGBT equality, and so forth, and it changed a very important piece in that. So,
yeah, so Canyon Signs, come to your senses and apologize.
I don't think he's going to if he's saying,
so either,
take us off your faggot list.
Yeah.
Well, we did have one person that said, Jason said, I sent him a very nice email, and by nice, I mean nasty. Now, we're not in any way suggesting you send him anything that is inappropriate, but there's also another person that said, hey, do you know that there is a contact us section of his website for this company, Colorado Canyon Signs, Inc.? And from what I gather, and the little bits and pieces that we're hearing, people are sending him an email saying, hey, this is inappropriate. Now, do you think we should have a blacklist? That's one of the things that people were talking about, is that should we have some type of list that say, LGBT folks, this is not a good place for you to spend your money.
Like what we do is good, but maybe that would be a good idea to compile that. Like say, this is the restaurant, this is what they said. this is the sign company, this is what he said. And not tell them don't go there, but kind of leave it up to,
This would be like an anti-Angie's list?
kind of. Maybe maybe have like a section, like businesses that have not been supportive or do not want to support us. I don't know if I like the term blacklist, but maybe, I don't know, I guess I don't have any problem with it. Actually, that might be a good idea.
Let us know what you think, community. We're very interested to know what you think about that possibility. Should we put out a list that says, don't spend your money here? We'd have to be very careful to make certain that, like in this particular case, there would be no opinion from us at all. We would simply just show the community what they did. So let us know about that. We're just about out of time, so don't call in now unless you can talk very, very fast.
If you need a sign, though,